Have you ever felt like your savings account is a giant joke that everyone is in on except you? You wake up every morning and you put on your shoes and you go to work for 40 hours a week and you do everything the experts tell you to do. You skip the expensive lunches and you stop buying the clothes you actually like and you tell your friends you are too busy to go out just so you can save a few extra dollars. And yet, after a month of living like a financial monk, you log into your banking app and you are staring at a balance of $847. Instead of feeling proud or successful, you just feel defeated and empty. It is a psychological trap that I call the financial quicksand, and most people spend their entire lives sinking in it without ever realizing why. The reason you feel like quitting right now is not because you are lazy or because you lack willpower. It is because saving money before you hit the $10,000 mark is objectively the most boring and unrewarding task on the planet. It is like trying to build a massive skyscraper starting with a single grain of sand while the wind is blowing at 50 miles per hour. Your brain is a highly evolved survival machine, and it knows that $800 cannot buy you a new life, or a house, or true security, so your brain treats that money as if it doesn't even exist.
This is the exact reason why you find yourself suddenly spending that small cushion on a weekend trip, or a new pair of shoes, or a dinner you don't even need. Your mind would rather have the instant hit of dopamine today than hold on to a tiny pile of cash that feels completely useless for your future tomorrow. Welcome to Nick's Formula, where we ignore the boring fluff and look at the cold hard logic of how money actually behaves in the real world. I am Nick, and I have spent years analyzing why smart people make terrible decisions that keep them stuck in the cycle of being broke. If you have ever felt like your savings account is just a dark hole where your dreams go to die, then you need to listen very closely to what I am about to say. There is an invisible territory that I call the dead zone. This is the space between $0 and $10,000, and it is the most dangerous place for your finances to be. In the dead zone, your money has no gravity and it has no weight. It cannot attract more money through interest because the math simply isn't big enough yet. And more importantly, it cannot protect you from the chaos of life. When you are in the dead zone, you are playing a high-stakes game of financial whack-a-mole. Every single time you manage to get a few $100s ahead, a cartoonish disaster strikes. Your car needs a transmission repair, or your laptop screen cracks, or your landlord decides to hike the rent by $200. Because your savings are so light, these small bumps in the road feel like total catastrophes. Every time life smacks you back down to zero, it creates a deep sense of resentment in your soul. You start to view your bank account as an enemy rather than an ally. You start to think that maybe being good with money is just a lie that rich people tell to keep everyone else working. But what if I told you that the struggle you are feeling right now is actually a mandatory part of the formula? Most people think they are failing because they don't see progress, but they are actually building the foundation of a fortress. Think about a massive bridge. Before you see the beautiful arches and the road above, the workers have to spend months digging deep into the dark, cold mud to set the pilings. Nobody walks past a construction site and says that bridge is a failure just because they can't see the road yet. They know the foundation is being laid underground. Your first few $1,000s are exactly like those bridge pilings. They are boring, and they are invisible, and they are covered in mud. But without them, everything you build later will eventually collapse. The reason saving feels useless right now is because you haven't reached escape velocity. You are still fighting the gravity of your old habits and the gravity of a society that wants you to spend every cent you earn.
In this defensive phase of the formula, you have to realize that every dollar you save is not a dollar spent. It is a soldier you are sending to the front lines to fight for your freedom. When you have less than $10,000, you are vulnerable. You are a target for every predatory lender and every unexpected bill. The world smells poverty, and it charges you a premium for it. Think about it. When you are broke, you pay more for everything. You pay late fees because you couldn't cover the bill on time. You pay higher interest rates because your credit is struggling. You buy cheap products that break in 2 months because you can't afford the quality version that lasts 10 years. This is the poverty trap. And the only way out of it is to push through the dead zone with everything you have. You have to stop looking at your bank account every day, hoping for a miracle, and start looking at it like a construction project that requires your total focus. $10,000 is the magic number because it is the point where the math finally starts to change. It is the point where an $800 car repair stops being a life-changing tragedy and starts being a minor annoyance. Crossing that line is not just about the cash,
It is about proving to yourself that you are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are becoming a person who can hold their ground.
You are building the armor that will eventually allow you to walk through the fire of any economic crisis without getting burned. Stay with me, because in the next part, we are going to talk about exactly how to trigger the identity shift that makes reaching this goal now. That you understand the pain of the dead zone, it is time to talk about the only way to actually get out of it. To reach that $10,000 milestone, you have to stop treating your savings like a slow and steady marathon and start treating it like a desperate sprint across a dangerous battlefield. The old cliche that slow and steady wins the race is a complete lie when you are starting from zero. Slow and steady is how you get caught in the rain. Slow and steady is how life has enough time to throw 10 different emergencies at you before you ever reach safety. If you are only saving $50 or $100 a month, it will take you over a decade to reach the breakthrough point. And the brutal reality is that your human willpower is not designed to last 10 years of deprivation without seeing a massive result. You need to create a sense of urgency that borders on a healthy obsession. You need to flip your entire financial world upside down right now. In Nick's formula, we do not hope for savings, we demand them. You must decide on a massive and aggressive savings goal first, and then force yourself to figure out how to navigate the world on whatever crumbs are left over.
This is the phase of the journey where you have to be willing to do the things that other people think are crazy or extreme. If you want a life that others don't have, you have to be willing to live in a way that others won't. This means entering a period of temporary insanity. It might mean moving back in with your parents for 12 months, or taking on a high-energy side hustle that eats up your weekends, or selling the car you can't afford and riding the bus. You have to understand that these are not permanent punishments. They are simply the temporary price of your permanent financial freedom. The only difference between the people who stay stuck in the cycle of being broke forever and the people who finally break through is the refusal to let lifestyle inflation eat their progress. Every single time you get a small raise or a tax refund or a bonus, the world will whisper in your ear that you deserve a treat. The world will tell you that you have worked hard and you should buy that new phone or that expensive dinner. But every time you listen to that voice, you are resetting the clock on your freedom. You are choosing a temporary hit of dopamine over the permanent power of a $10,000 shield. When you finally see those 5 digits in your bank account, something chemical happens in your brain. For the first time in your adult life, you stop looking at the world through the eyes of a victim and you start looking at it through the eyes of an owner.
This is the identity shift that makes wealth inevitable. When you have $10,000 in cash, you have bought yourself the greatest luxury in the world, and that luxury is time. You have bought yourself the ability to breathe. If your boss is toxic and treats you like garbage, you can walk away because you aren't one missed paycheck away from homelessness. If a massive opportunity comes your way that requires a small investment, you can actually say yes. This is why the first $10,000 is the most important money you will ever earn. It isn't because of the purchasing power, it is because of the psychological permission it gives you to think big. You move from the vulnerability zone where everyone can hurt you into the stability zone where you are finally in control of the steering wheel. The people who successfully make this crossing are the ones who treat their $10,000 like an escape fund rather than a spending fund. They realize that they are not just hoarding paper, they are accumulating ammunition for the future. Once you have proven to yourself that you have the grit to stack $10,000 when it felt useless and when nobody was cheering for you, then you have already won the game of life. You have developed the financial muscles and the mental discipline required to reach 100,000 and eventually 1 million, because the formula for wealth never actually changes, only the number of zeros on the end does.
You have proven that you can do hard things, even when the payoff is not immediately obvious. And that single realization is worth more than the cash itself. You are no longer just a person with some money in the bank. You are a wealth builder who understands the long game. So if you are sitting there right now feeling like your small savings are a waste of time, I want you to look at those dollars again. Those aren't just pieces of paper. They are bricks in the foundation of your future empire. Do not let the smallness of the beginning trick you into giving up before the miracle happens.
Every month you stay disciplined is another month you are closer to the light at the end of the tunnel. You are currently in the most important phase of your entire life because this is where your character is being forged in the fire. If you can survive the dead zone, you can survive anything the economy throws at you. You are building a fortress that will protect you and your family for decades to come. If this logic clicks for you and you are ready to stop playing defense and start winning, then you need to be part of this community. This channel is not for people looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. It is for people who are ready to master the formula and take control of their destiny. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications because we are just getting started. I want you to go down to the comments right now and type out exactly where you are on your journey to 10,000.
Whether you have $1 or $5,000, put it in the comments because stating your goal is the first step toward making it a reality. Your future self is counting on the difficult decisions you are making today. Don't let them down. I am Nick, and this is Nick's Formula. I will see you in the next video as we continue to build your wealth one brick at a time.